Good morning everybody. If you're new to the channel, welcome, and if you follow me on a regular basis, welcome back. Those who have watched my previous videos will see that recently I have upgraded my caravan on my seasonal pitch, and I've had quite a few questions from people who've known me for quite a while as to why I've done this, why I've done it now, when I've always kind of said I wouldn't replace my caravan because I'm quite happy with it, it does everything I need it to do, and now I've kind of gone back on my word and replaced it with quite a different caravan. The truth is, I hadn't actually intentionally gone out looking at caravans with the view to buying one just yet. I was kind of looking around, just seeing different layouts and stuff to see what I thought would work for me in the future. Now, after having going and seeing probably about 40 to 50 different layouts of vans in different caravan sales places, when I walked into this caravan, I just knew I had to have it because the layout was just perfect for me, for my plans for the future. What are my plans for the future? Okay, so I've always said, whilst the children were younger, that when I got to 55, so I'm 53 now, I was going to buy a huge Winnebago. I was going to sell the house, make sure they were all provided for obviously, and I was going to go off exploring and just sort of like live on the open road. And I always said, just make sure you've got big driveways for mummy to come and park that big Winnebago. Anyway, not practical. When I know you can buy Winnebagos really cheap, however it's the running cost, and also me driving a Winnebago, absolutely not. I'm bad enough driving a little motorhome, not a flipping big RV. I've just always liked the idea of not being tied to bricks and mortar. I suppose at some point I would go back to it when I'm quite a bit older, but for now I just want to be out there sort of exploring and doing different things. So no, a Winnebago was not for me, and that's how I then ended up buying my first little motorhome to sort of give me the taste of what motorhome living was like, and I did, I absolutely loved it. But I don't know if I will want to be full-time on the road travelling about, and I do love the concept of having a base to come back to. So I kind of switched from on the road full-time to having my caravan as a base and then having a motorhome to go off exploring, and then during the winter months when my seasonal pitch is closed I could have used my motorhome then. Anyway, I now have a different plan. I always say no plans are set in stone, and I do like to run everything in my mind thinking what's going to work best. So the plan that I then came up with was to have my caravan on my seasonal pitch for the 8 months of the year, and then the other 4 months to tour with my caravan, possibly taken advantage of I think it's like the 28-day rule, where you can go on a site for 28 days then move on somewhere else. I don't want to be going like every week to a different place. I want to sort of like stay in a place for a certain amount of time then move on. With that in mind, the caravan that I had would not have been suitable to do that. It was a very old caravan. It's been on seasonal pitch for at least 9 years now, and also didn't have heating, didn't have a shower, and it was very, very basic inside. So I thought, if I'm going to be living in something full time, I need a bit more of a luxury, if you like hot water is a good thing, a shower definitely, heating for over the winter because it's going to get cold. So that's why I then started looking to see if there was any caravans where the layout would work for me. And then I seen this one. Absolutely perfect layout. I've still not done a little video of it, which I will get round to doing, so I can show you like all the features of it, and then you'll see why you could live in it full time. Anyway, I've kind of rambled now about why I've bought the caravan, And what I've also done is a breakdown of costs to live in the caravan full time. Now this is just based on how it will be for me, because I am fortunate to have the seasonal pitch. That does keep my costs quite low. But for those of you who are thinking of doing it, you may not have thought about getting a seasonal pitch, you might have just thought of being on the road full time. So this video is just to kind of give you an idea of what it would be like cost wise if you did go for the seasonal pitch option. As I've said in one of my previous videos, my seasonal pitch costs me £1,200 for 12 months, although I can only use it for 8 months of the year. On top of that, I have my electric, because we're all metered on site. Now my electric for last year was £120 for the full 8 months. Now I know with this new van my electric bill is going to be considerably more, because I am using a lot more electric with having the heating on, using the hot water, things like that I didn't use in the other van, although I did have fan heaters on, which obviously use quite a bit. Now I've worked out, if I was to take my van off site at the end of October when it closes, I would then have approximately 123 days where I would be off site, where I would need to find somewhere else to stay. As I said, my plan would then be to go and stay maybe 4 or 5 different sites over that 4-month period. Now, because I'm a solo traveller, obviously my site fees would be a lot less than if you were a family or even if you were a couple. So I'm going on sort of, say like the main club sites like Caravan and Motorhome, Camping and Caravanning, which I am members of both. To go on sites which are pretty basic, I'm looking about £20 a night. Now that's including my electric. So when you think over winter, my electric is going to be on a lot more with my heating. So to have £20 a night for my pitch and my electric, I don't think is too bad. And I've been working out some sums, which anybody who knows me, maths is not my strong point. I have checked and double checked these figures and I think I'm pretty right with them. So if I'm staying on sites for the 123 days at £20 a night, that would be £2,460 for the 4 months. So that would be around £615 a month to stay on a site full time with the electric. Now that sounds quite a lot when I'm only paying £1,200 to stay for 8 months on my seasonal pitch, but what I've done is I've broke it into a full yearly amount and then a monthly and then a weekly, and I was actually really shocked at what it would cost me over the year. So adding my seasonal pitch and my touring costs would be £3,660 a year. Now that is excluding my electric for when I'm on my seasonal pitch. Breaking that down, it would be £305 a month, which equates to about £70 a week. That £70 is everything. As I say, bar the electric, which I am estimating it is possibly going to be when I'm on seasonal pitch, maybe about £15 a week, but I have got to check that. I have done a meter reading for whilst I came the caravan this time, and I will have been here 10 days, so I am going to work out roughly what I am spending now on my electric. It's not going to be a huge amount, and I do have the option, if I think it's getting a bit high, I can switch my heating and hot water over to the gas. Now, I've not included the price of gas bottles in my estimation, and that's only because I haven't had the van long enough to know how much gas I am using. Now, with my other caravan, I think it was a 19-kilo gas bottle, and that actually lasted me 6 years. So I don't think my gas is going to be that much really, unless I do switch it over and use it for the, as I say, for the heating and hot water. The one other expense I forgot to mention is the caravan insurance. Now that will stay the same regardless of whether I'm touring or whether I'm on my seasonal pitch, and I pay I think it's £360 for the year, which I thought was quite high when I was getting my quotes, but I've asked a few people and they said it seems to be pretty standard. I actually thought it would be cheaper as well, keeping it for the full 12 months in one place, but apparently it's not, because it's classed as being in quite a rural area, so they say that the theft is quite high when they're in rural areas. So yeah, that's the other thing to just factor in your caravan insurance. But if you're in a house, you've got house insurance anyway. Now in your house, obviously you have your rent or your mortgage to pay, you have your electric, you have your gas, you have your water, you have your council tax. Now with the council tax, this is a bit of a grey area, because I know if you're on some seasonal pitches, sorry, I wasn't sure if Molly was going to knock this stand then. If you're on some seasonal pitches, you do have to provide proof of your home address or a address where you're on a council tax bill and also a utility bill. Now there are some sites which don't ask for this, so there are ways around it. Obviously when you're touring, it doesn't matter, you don't need that proof. So that's something to bear in mind. If you are going to go onto a seasonal pitch, are they going to need that information from you? However, I do know people where they are on 12-month seasonal pitches, and the way they get round that is they either go on a council tax bill and utility bill of either their children or somebody they know. I even know somebody, and they actually rent a room within a shared house for, I think they pay about £55 a week, which puts them on the council tax and also on a utility bill. So there are ways around it. Yes, it will put your yearly costs up, but there are cheap ways to do it. And I think overall it's still a very, very cheap way to live if that's the way you could live. I personally could quite easily live in this caravan tomorrow. I absolutely love caravanning, motorhome. I think caravanning has the advantage for me because it does give me that extra room, because obviously I've got my dog, well I've got 2 dogs, I've got my rabbit who comes with me now, so I find this space works best for me. So I think overall, if caravanning is your thing and you'd be comfortable living in one, it is a very, very cheap way to live, and also it's a comfortable way to live. If you can get the right caravan for you, the right layout with everything you need, we just fill our houses with stuff we don't even need. When you think in your caravan you're just really, really basic and you survive. Anyway, I hope you've kept up with my waffle. I hope all my figures are right. I'm pretty sure they are. Let me know your thoughts and let me know if it's inspired you to maybe look into doing it. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.